All right, so I've been trading all day. I figured I thought I was recording. I actually wasn't. So I did enter here at this kind of range. I think we've got a short-term bottom in place. And right here is where I expect someone to hit the buy button. So I think someone hit the buy button. I think for the day I think we found the bottom. Short-term bottom. It could sell off into the close, obviously. The first place we're going, obviously we got first reaction area here. Next place I think we're going is the 50% of the OR. Had good trading so far. So all the way down. But I think selling any rallies here, you're going to be on the wrong side of the trade. I think the short-term bottom is in. I'll be taking some profit on this position. We're at 30 lots. I'll be taking some up here on the 50%. Right around the RDA too. Oh, it's going to make me wish I took more or took it already. So that big candle there, that I think will be if it closes above these levels, that'll be a sign to many people that, hey, okay, the reversal's in. Buy the dip. I don't think the buy the dip crowd, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff above them on the daily. They got a lot of stuff the buy the dip crowd has to contend with to go back long and get back into this range. So it's going to be an interesting next couple weeks. Definitely. All right. We're about 2 minutes into the opening range close. It's Friday, the 21st. I'll probably be ending early. I mean, there's probably some good trading. Really, I think it's momentum long the rest of the day. So any pullback is gonna hurt sellers. So if you're selling this pullback, I think you're gonna get hurt. I think there's gonna be buyers stepping up. So ideally, we want to see this close come up above this level. I mean, it doesn't have to, but coming up above this level will signal a lot of people that, hey, okay, we got it right at a level close, and we're not going to get it. Don't think it's going to happen. Question is, do I want to take some off this trade? It's pretty far way down. It's pretty big rejection on the 5 minute, and it's rejecting at a key area. Well, it could sell off here actually, but we're watching this area right here. Question is, do I want to add? Do I have the conviction to add? That's the question. And yeah, I'll add down here. I'll add right here. If it gets here, I'll add here. I might have missed my opportunity to add. Sure did. Not being aggressive enough on that pullback. That was my opportunity to add, and I did not add. I could still technically, but it's chasing the trade at this point in time. All right, come on. Now, probability says that I should get out and take profit here. So I will let it overshoot a little bit. See, look at that. This is kind of the definition of a short squeeze. I'm going to get out and take some profit. I'd hate myself in the morning if I didn't do it. Well, it's not that it is the morning. I'd hate myself in the afternoon if I didn't take some profit. So we'll do, took half off. Really, I probably should have let it run, but more times than not, that's why I take half off at some key areas, because more times than not, it's a good practice, put it that way. And we're going to put trailing stops all the way down here, below this low. Pretty monstrous move there. 12 and 15. All right. Now, I did share in Discord before this moved. I did say that I think we've got the short-term bottom. I think that's enough for the buy the dip crowd. Maybe. So we got another 2 minutes into this candle, closes above this high. Obviously, it takes out that high. It's already taken it out. It's printed up here. So, you know, you've got the opening range high. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up to the 14,850 level, 14,900 level, and then just dips from there, and it just goes to a range for the rest of the day. Who knows? All right. I mean, I thought it was recording my trading, but I was busy. Been a very busy morning. Other things have been going on besides just trading and stuff. So I was kind of trading, but then putting in trailing stops and then getting up and taking care of a few things here. But this is a pretty, as I noticed I wasn't recording, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm in a trade. I might as well just finish the opening range. So, took out these highs. If it takes out this level here and closes at this level, any pullback I think will be continuing to be bought up. So it can get down to here, 674. It can get down to here. In fact, I will add here if it gets down to here. And I'm going to do something that I really shouldn't do. Well, I can watch it on another screen in another area of my house. But, because I have it going on 2 other computers. Let's see. Well, I was going to get up, but I think, and make some coffee. Looks like it might want to stall here. That'd be a good place for it to stall. So I think my thesis for entering here is still sound. Do our first entry right at the RDA and right at this level. So really you've got people thinking, okay, well, number one, anybody that was short in this whole area pretty much got taken out. So I assume a lot of this action was just stops being hit. And now it's kind of at a level where all these stops are taken out. The people that are trying to be smart, that are not just one tick but a couple ticks above these highs, were just taken out. So everybody was just taken out here. All the shorts were taken out. So then you've got people buying, adding to the shorts. I mean, I really said back here that, in Discord, I think someone's going to hit the buy button. What I really mean by that is, the big capital is going to then reverse the direction. Well, I guess I should just... I don't have to, but above this high, I need to be taking some profits. And I'm going to protect a little bit of this, just a little bit closer. And then put some down here. So that's 12, and then we'll put one right here. All right, well, there's not going to be any discussion because I'm going to go make some coffee. And I don't like the coffee machine that is in my home office. So I'm going to go to the expansive coffee machine upstairs. So let me, I'm just going to let this play though. So you can watch it unfold. Come on, Rex, let's go, buddy. I know. You need to go upstairs. You can go guard me up there. I know.
Stop field. Stop field. Stop field.
you sit over here, or you want to hang out with me? Want to trade with me? Look at that, we got knocked out. Oh, damn. Well, that sucks. Yeah. Alright, buddy, you sit here. Alright, so we're back. Well, we actually dwindled in a lot of our profit. It would have been nice to be here to actually get out of that there, but we'll see. So we must have got, it must have came up here and took us out up here. Probably what happened. I wasn't watching it. It's negative, holy, what is it? I don't know what the temperature is. It's freaking cold, put it that way. It's negative something, -6. So the other dog did not want to go out. She was very happy just staying inside, but I let Rex out, and he did not want to go out and go do his business, but he kind of had to. You know, when it's -6 out, it's pretty damn cold. So anything below 0, I feel bad for these dogs that got to go outside and go to the outhouse. You know, back in the day, you didn't have bathrooms inside the house. You had an outhouse. Oh, it had to be insane. I mean, for a guy, obviously a guy can, if he's just got to do his kind of business, it's kind of easier for a guy, obviously. But for women, you know, it's a little bit different mechanics in going to the bathroom. I guess I could still just wing it just outside of the cabin. I don't know what got me thinking about this. I just thought about if I had an outhouse here, it would, I don't know. I'm in a very cold place, as you can tell. I don't know how people 150 years ago decided that this was a great place to live, because it's barely a great place to live. And we've got everything modern. We've got heat. I can warm up the car in advance. Very warm clothing. I've got heated gloves. I've got, you know, I just don't, I mean, obviously people were a lot tougher back then. All right, so like I said before, I think every rally, you know, it's no longer sell the rally. Do think the bottom is in, at least based on what we are seeing right now. Do I want to be taken out here? It's the question. I don't want to add, because if I'm going to add, I'm going to add down here. Meaning that I want a deeper pullback to add, even though this does fit the criteria to add. I don't want to be taken out yet. Give it a little bit of room. We look at the multi-time frame RDA. We are, yeah. Look at the daily. So we're around the daily open. I wouldn't be surprised if it just rips up all the way over here above the high. Buy the dip crowd will be back. Market rescue operation. I mean, it's not really a rescue. You should have been looking for the bottom. It's so obvious. Why I say that is because, look, we have a 9% pullback, you could say. 8% pullback. So then if we project this out, we're at 12% roughly. So you should have been looking for some type of at least try, a serious try of reversal all through this area here. Every rally was being sold. Every rally was being sold. So, you know there's going to be some kind of rally that's going to stick. So really the most obvious is this level was, everybody in the world could see this level. So if we earmark that level where it stopped, I don't know why I'm, you know, most, not most, but a lot of people maybe would have been looking at this level, but it stopped at kind of a key level. So everybody could see that level. So it's a prime place for it to try to do what it's doing. And should have added on that pullback. What's up, buddy? You don't like your spot? All right. Then you go sit over on the couch. All right. Well, there's not much more I can add. Like I said, I thought I was recording before, so I guess I could maybe play this out. I'd sell above this high, so I will sell above this high. So here's my thinking. Yeah, it's gonna rally, and it might rally well above this high here, but at some point in time, the buyers are gonna get slapped back to reality of like, hey, it's not, you're not quite in control. So that's going to happen sometime, somewhere up here, I think, is really what I'd be looking for. Look at that. That's quite a move here. Look at that move. If you look at this move, pretty fierce. I mean, you've got a 1.8% move to the downside, and then you've got a 1.8% move to the upside within the span of the first hour and a half, first 90 minutes of the market. Quite a bit of a move. Want to see overextension here. I want to see a breach of this high, and then I'll sell into that high. So we'll start selling here briefly. Come on. All right.
Order filled.
I took 3 off because probabilities. Look, it hit a high, had a reaction. I'm still expecting it to breach the high, but it could very well just sell off from here too. And I probably will sell at size here, up here. Yeah, see, this is precisely why I sold there. I mean, look, you got the opening range high for the day of the cash open. So, yeah, I mean, do we think it's going to be breach? Yeah, I still think it's going to be a breach. So on the multi RDA, maybe I'm looking for this right now. Get up to here, 860 level, and then slap the buyers again. So the buyers think they're in control, and then slap them again, bring them back down to the range. Might not come to fruition, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Not much to say here. Rex, you got anything to say? Yeah. I mean, he's literally looking at me like, I think he does this every winter, which is like, what the hell? What? Why do we not live in the tropics? If I was a dog, I'd be like, why are you subjecting me to this drastically cold torture? So we'll start selling up here. Crypto crash. That's what's happening on Twitter. Well, let's see. Sorry, there's not much to talk about. Futures. Crypto top. Well, let's go to the daily because that doesn't really tell me anything. I'm on the wrong chart. That's the first problem. So let's go to the right chart. And let's go to crypto top. And so it looks like a bottom possibly. Still more downside. FTM. Bounce at the RDA. We expect that. I'm eyeing this level down here. I'm really waiting for Solana to sell off below 100. So I want to pick it up right around here. 65, 70, 80, ideally. Matic, same thing. Matic, I'm staking quite a bit of Matic and stuff in the Matic. Same with FTM, a lot of stuff on FTM. So ideally, we're going to get below 160 here on Matic. BNB, ooh, 422. Yeah, we're still in a higher low area. See where we're at. I'm just adding. Let's look around the market. So Apple hit a bottom. What we're seeing, AMD, Amazon, Boeing, Deere, Docu. Let's see if Peloton's actually at our buy area, which is below. I bet it did find a bid. Yeah. So to me, I mean, I don't get the whole company anyways, to tell you the truth. I think it's just a flex. I think the whole company's just a flex. It's just part of, like, you know, saying you have an overpriced bike with an iPad attached. That's my personal feeling. I mean, I've tested them out. I mean, they're well built, but I don't know. I also don't buy into I don't need to, like, back when I did a lot of workout and stuff, I don't need the motivation of other people. So I'm not a big group workout person. So all the other components of it, I'm just not. But you know what? If you've ever watched like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, all the Dragon's Dens, there's an Ireland one. There's a, where else? There's a UK. Where else? There's Australia. I think it's Dragon's Den. I think it's called, in Canada, it's called Dragon's Den. And then here in the US, it's called Shark Tank. And then Kevin O'Leary is actually in the Canadian one. And then now they're starting to do some, in Shark Tank, they're starting to bring some people that were in Dragon's Den. Because Dragon's Den, I think, is well before Shark Tank. Anyways, if you've watched those shows, you know that there's products on there that you probably look at and go, who the hell would buy that, right? Who the hell would buy that product? But then, they've got $5 million in sales. So you're like, okay, there's a market for it. So I don't, whatever people like, I don't really care. I mean, to me, it's like people like what they like. So, but Peloton's a prime example. Like I don't get it. I think it's an overpriced, like product and offering, but there's a segment of the people that actually find value in it. So the question is, do I let this position? So where I'm at right now is, I think I'm just going to leave it down here. And we're going to just put our stop here. And then we're going to add here. If it gets here. So one thing I'll add is so look, you need to be able to read the room, read the tone of the market. That's a pretty orderly sell-off. And I say orderly because what happened? Let's remove all these drawings. So let's go to the 1 minute chart. You have the opening range here in blue. And you come up, you test the opening range. Now, the Rexdog system's all about reactions. We overlay high probability reaction areas. Any level, like the opening range high, is a reaction area, and we see a reaction. So we get a reaction here, but it's a pretty orderly reaction, meaning that it's not like this, where like there's just selling and then selling and then just selling and then just selling. There's a little bit of selling, but then there's buying. A little bit of selling. There's a big bar there, but buying. A little bit of selling, then buying. So every kind of sell is answered. It's not a bidless environment like here. Bidless environment. Bidless. No bids, no bids, no bids. So, when you see this, of course, so you went from a high volatility time to low volatility time. Now, if you're watching this and you're not in the training, I'm just going to plug my training because I'm adding some stuff this weekend and the coming weeks. So in the training, I've done a whole opening range section. Am I not logged in? No, I'm not logged in. So I've done a whole opening range section. And in that opening range, we're looking to get picked up here too. In that opening range training, we really talk about the levels. And it's multiple videos. We kind of talk about the opening range. This is how I'm structuring a lot of the training that I'm doing going forward, which is very shorter videos. I'm focusing on just, okay, let's do under 10 to 15 minutes ideally, no longer than 30 minutes, and just one concept. So I've got a couple things to add to the training here. The other thing that I think, if you haven't gone through and you're in the training, going through the time aspect, there's quite a bit of, I talk about thinking in time and ranges, talk about a lot of different things around time and how really you should be viewing time. Now on tick charts here, over here, time isn't a factor. And we'll get into that in the new training I'm releasing, which is tick charts are gold because they're not measuring time. So when you're looking at, when I say, and the point I'm trying to make is the orderly sell-off. So this sell-off right here, this price action was about 15 minutes of price action. It came back and it tests levels that are in the Rexdog system that are high probability reaction areas. I mean, really, it turned momentum long here. This big candle was where the buy button was clicked. I mean, I called the bottom way down here. Well, basically down here where I entered. So way down here is where I called the bottom. Pretty good entry for the bottom there. And then as we kind of go here and retest the high, anticipate this will break at an orderly sell-off back to the momentum indicators. And where the next area where you expect reaction is where the buyers will think that they're in control, and then that's where the liquidity is at. Yeah, I hesitate. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and trading videos, I should say. And I think I used to do this back in the day. I say back in the day, a while ago, a couple years ago. I would maybe mention things that I thought were happening in the market, and I would explain them in ways, but since I haven't worked in an institution, since I haven't worked at a bank, how would I actually know these things? And I only knew these things because I heard it secondhand from other people, or YouTube videos or whatever, reading in books. But I don't really know. And like I'm not going to go out and call people out or do anything like that. But I'd say 70% of the YouTube videos that I hear where people are explaining things and talking about things, I'm not saying they're flat out wrong, but they don't know because their background and it doesn't show that they would have that knowledge. So I no longer talk about dumb money, smart money, liquidity pools, whatever these fancy terms are to explain these things, because I don't have any frame of reference of if it's true. So a lot of times I think it probably can be frustrating because all the information I need to trade is on the chart. And I don't need to like come up with these fancy terms. I do have my own terms, obviously, and the own way that I look at things, because I'm trying to contextualize it. But I no longer contextualize it into this false narrative around what's happening with the smart money. So a good example is what we're looking at right here as this trade unfolds. Oh, well, the smart money, is trapped, all the sellers. And, what we'd be looking at right here is there's a liquidity pool here, at a liquidity high. I don't know, however you want to explain it. And you've got the smart money is going to entice the buyers to come up to this level. And then when the buyers get up to this level, then they're going to take all that liquidity and they're going to break it back down here to this, and there is, I will say, I watch these videos not because look, the newest trader, one of the surprising things that I think, I believe, and I know I'm just riffing here, but I believe that, well, for instance, I was talking to my it'd be brother-in-law, and I would not think that this guy trades options, or I just didn't think that, but he trades options, and he's done very well at it. He started with, I think, $1,200, and he's up quite a bit, and he's doing very well, and he's trading with another buddy of his, and we were just talking 2 months ago or so, a month ago, and he's really new. He kind of knows what he's doing, but he's learned a lot, right? But he doesn't really even know how to read charts. He just reads the option chains and just, he's just got a good feel of how to trade options. And, I got insight by just talking to him about maybe the way certain things are happening, or way certain people look at the market. Another participant perspective. And I share that because that's one reason why I still watch. I mean, I've got a couple channels that I subscribe to that have less than 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I don't have that many subscribers either. So, but less than 1,000 subscribers that I can tell they're kind of fumbling their way to trying to get out there. But every now and then I'll it's not something I'm watching very closely, but I come across an idea or a concept that does help me look at the market in a different way, maybe see a different perspective. But I also have no time for someone that speaks from a perspective where they have no clue what the hell they're talking about. They're just regurgitating something they read in a book. And I think I maybe did some of that maybe in the past. But I quickly came to the conclusion that I don't really know this stuff. And I've talked to people, big traders, local hedge funds, local family firms here. And so I've got a little bit more perspective on a lot of things, and I've actually been, brought into a couple places. So I've got a little bit more perspective, but I still don't have the experience. I'm not day in and day out. I've not been at a prop firm. And I'm just kind of riffing in here because I want to probably end this with this trade, but one of the things, I have no interest in taking outside money because I do not want to be beholden to anybody else. I don't want to have to get on capital calls. I don't want to have to do any of that crap. I don't want to, I have zero interest, even though I probably could, well, not probably. The fees that you can make just doing what I'm doing right here and then just getting a return and it adds to your overall P&L. It makes your opportunity cost go up drastically for trading, and it's other people's money. So if you can do things with other people's money, you got a lot of leverage. I get it. I just don't want to be beholden to it. I have no interest in not being able to do what the hell I want, if that makes sense. So the question now is, what do we do? Pretty orderly sell-off. I'm still waiting to get picked up down here. So I'm waiting for these checks here. So I'm waiting to get picked up here on this pullback. So is that enough right there for me to add to this position for the next leg up? We are at, so we're about to close the second hour. It's 10:15. It is Friday. I don't know what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Let's look around the market a little bit. Well, Peloton is up 10%. So maybe it hit the bottom. Look at the big tech. Big tech on aggregate is and well below. Let's look at this low here. All right. Google. Ooh, Google's been crushed. SLV. Ah, SLV. I wonder if I got picked up on these positions. I was adding all through here. I think SLV, you know, is one of those that will, you know, the other one that I mentioned, is it core? What is the position I'm in? It's not core. What's that position? I'm trying to think. It'll come to me in a second. I haven't updated these, so these positions aren't accurate. FCX, still in that, back. Oh, it's about hitting the buy area. This is hitting the buy area, almost. CPLG. AMC is not a position. Jesus, that's been crushed. So much for the meme stocks. There we go, mining. So let's look at the mining stocks. Had a good run. Silver, KL. Think there's still opportunity in the mining stocks. Starting to see some bottoms in various markets here. High yield. Oh, high yield. Found a bid. Oil. I should have probably added on that. Yeah, let's add here.
Order filled.
Let's cancel this. I mean, we had a check in here 4 times. 1, 2, 3. 3 times. 4 times. So it could sell off here, obviously. But we're looking for that breach up here. And since we don't want to go negative, we'll put our stop losses here. Just quiet because there's nothing really going on. Where were we at? Is it core? I thought it was core. I can't. I'm at a loss of So we'll look at crypto again. Nothing's green that I'm tracking in my top. We look at this. We see on the 1 hour time frame we're starting to see some bottoms, possibly. 24-hour secret. I'm actually I'm staking quite a bit of secret as well. Let's see. 7-day. LRC, KDA, Harmony, Near, Gala, CRV, Sand, Zello, AMP. Seeing if there's anything that has a 7-day low. Phantom. I think these things still have a lot more to go. So nothing's on the radar. Alright, so there it goes. It's starting to move. So I'm looking for sellers to be slapped above this high. Could be wrong. And maybe we're right around 900 now, based on the multi-time frame RDA. This is an indicator that I have released to the private group. So it's the multi-time frame RDA. Basically, this is an RDA of the multi-time frame RDA. It's the Rec stock average of the Rec stock averages of a multi-time frame Rec stock average. So I found that it's a pretty powerful leading indicator on where things are going, where they want to sell off, where they want to have reaction points is really where it's at. All right. Maybe I should be looking a little bit higher, meaning up here. That's the 1 hour RDA. Well, let's stay with that thesis. So to stay with that thesis, let's say that that's where it's going. Then I want to give it a little bit of room on the downside and then just let it rip to the upside. $9.76. In order for this thesis to hold, it has to stay momentum long throughout this. It can't turn momentum short. I mean, it naturally wants to come back and retest this opening range high, but ideally you want to see a strong move beyond that. Now we are 6 minutes from the 2 hour close, so there's that. Ooh, look at that. Almost got taken out. So it did come back and test on this next candle. Came back and test this range, which you would expect, or the opening range high. You know, I have to say this.
Stop filled.
Oh man, I got taken out. That sucks. The more time that I spend on Twitter, the more waste of time it feels. So, like, I check Twitter and I don't. Reason why I don't spend a lot of time there, I just don't get a lot of value from anything there. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. But, I mean, I'm sure there's good conversation. Maybe it's the people I'm following. I try to follow, so for me, you know, I try to follow people in crypto, some traders, but then also
Stop filled.
some people that are really against crypto. Like Peter Schiff, I think. And then there's, you know, there's just a couple accounts that are really against crypto. Just to get an alternative view. So we're now momentum short. Now the question is, I think that's where I put my original area right here. Before I wanted to get all smart and say, hey, the RDA. Now this is the momentum indicator on the 1 hour. So where are we at on the day? 11,000. It's not bad. All right. Okay, well, I just took a little break. I was just getting bored, but that was a really good trade that I missed out on. I did share it on Discord, so if we go to Discord, I shared kind of my entry here too. So I'll talk through this instead of just showing you. Let me just talk through this. So, you know, I was getting bored here. So I just wanted to finish the training, do some other stuff. I've got some YouTube videos and some stuff that I'm really just focusing on refining and being concise and just focusing on that. So, I missed this trade here. I did not enter this trade here on this sell-off, but it went back to the area of the opening range we expect. And I said in Discord, I still got a position there, that I'm looking around the 640 level. It never hit that, but I went long, obviously, down here with 6 lots. And I said, look, it's going to overshoot that, kind of a garden variety sell-off. Let me make sure that I cover this. So I just want to cover this just so that you can get some context of what I was talking about in Discord. If you weren't in Discord, and if you're not, definitely join. You'll find a link down below. It's sold off. Now, the thesis is that we have the low for the day. So as we see the sell-off, the best place to trap sellers was right around, sellers was right around this 640 level. You see this yellow line? That aligns with this is a 1 hour close, a 60-minute close. And if we go to the 1 hour time frame and we look at that, this area right here is a level. So you'll see this is a level right here. And that's exactly where we see it hitting and finding support. So I was thinking it might go a little bit below that to the 40 handle, 640 handle, but it didn't. But that would be enough time, or that would be kind of the area where you would expect sellers to get trapped. So I think there's some sellers trapped here that they didn't take profit on this way down. And now it's 11:07. So we're going into it's Friday. I said that probably where this trade is maybe heading, if it's heavy vol, is up here to breach the high, and then sell off, just back down to the range, mainly so that the traders in New York can go off to the Hamptons and miss traffic. So, it's 12. If they put in some a little effort here in the next hour, they can still beat traffic on the way out to the Hamptons. I know some of them take helicopters and such, so they're not really concerned about that, so they can be around a little bit more. I don't even know if they go to the Hamptons in the wintertime. I don't know, wherever they go. So that's kind of my thesis. Let's see here. I got a question here. What do you look for in a pullback to consider good enough to add into a position? I guess how I would answer that question. What do you look for in a pullback to consider good enough to add into a position? Well, for me, it's just, does it fit my thesis? So remember, we're always asking the three questions. Where is price coming from? Where does it want to go? And how does it want to get there? Well, it's coming from a break of the high for the day. Sold off, so we expect some sell-off, at least test to the upper range. It continued to sell off. So as it continued to sell off, then it's okay, well, where does it want to go? Well, we know there's half of the opening range, and it doesn't want to make it easy. So it's going to break that opening range to frustrate the heck out of people. But then you have a very clear level here that anybody looking at it's just trading 101. Very clear level there, right where it stopped. So yeah, I'm going to take a position there because it fits the multiple criteria. The multiple criteria is, we are getting a little bit of a sell-off. The multiple criteria is you got 50% of the OR, which is there, you're breaking it, and then as you're breaking it, it's causing people to be on the wrong side of the trade, so they're covering, and then buyers will add to that. And then so that narrative of what I was looking for, when it's coming down, you're looking at where's the highest probability of it having some type of reaction that's going to stick. That's really what you're looking for. And I cover all this in the Rex Dog training. I really cover these reaction areas, how to look at them. And you see so the other thing to be very mindful in this scenario, and I probably should have took some profit here in the upper end of this range instead of just talking through this. I'm just going to get out. Is the reason for this is you're in a fade trade. So because I'm talking through this, I don't really want to stay in the trade. So what I'm saying there, which should be obvious if you're trading the Rex Dog system. Let's go to the NQ. 5-minute. So look, when you're buying down here, like we were, I probably should have stayed in that trade, but I just didn't want to track it. When you're buying down here, the thesis still stands. When you're buying down here, you're in a fade trade because it's kind of in a changeover period right here, which you're getting from the momentum indicators. You're below the VWAP as well, so breach the VWAP. So you're in a fade trade though. That's a fade trade. And where is it reacting? Well, where you expect. It's very clear in here, right this area right here. It's very clear that that's the reaction area. So if you're buying here on that fade trade, you're expecting a reaction. We got a reaction. We got an overshoot. So you expect a reaction. Now that it's coming back down, what do? This is kind of where you kind of view it. Do you call the bluff on the market? Meaning that, okay, it did the thing. It went past, and then it went to the, this is where if you're trading with momentum would be to go to short here because you're not arguing with the chart. For me to go long right now, I'm arguing with the momentum of the chart. I'm fading this move. So maybe my thesis of the 40 handle, 640 handle is still valid. So maybe I'll add here, not maybe, but we'll add here. Look for an overshoot of that low. So sorry, I didn't mean to be silent. So I was just answering what I was answering the question on Discord was, look, the bottom line is you're looking for areas of reaction and narrative to follow that. So, okay, what happened? Let's just talk about what happened here. We did switch over to momentum long. The big tick here did partially almost did in this area did recapture the RDA. So now you've got a low here. If it breaches this low, you expect there's stops here. So if it breaches this low, what's the probability that it's going to continue down to the opening range low? Well, it's momentum short, so you're fade trading. But the way to read the market and where it's at, especially if you look at the daily time frame, you got to put things into context. We're at a point in the chart where there doesn't have to be. You would expect some type of intermediate bottom to happen. So you need to carry that narrative forward. So there's positioning in that aspect. So when you look at that and you kind of look and you're playing the narrative of the chart out and you're looking at, okay, well, what's the trade here that's before me? Well, short here, you are momentum short, so you're going with the momentum, but you should have shorted up here. That's the best entry. An entry here, you're at a decision point, or you're at a reaction area, so it can go either way. It can break down on this reaction area, or it could continue to kind of use this reaction area. Remember, it's an area. It's not an exact right the middle, so it's this general area. What happens below these lows is important. And sometimes, and this is where if you watch charts enough, if you watch the market enough, you'll come to understand that it has to range for a little bit in order for it to switch over to a momentum long environment from a momentum short environment. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. So really the only trade on the table was, okay, I shorted that. I mean, was what the trade we took. Probably should have got out right around the momentum checks. And then the only trade that's on the table is calling the bluff on a break of these lows. Meaning we get picked up on a break of these lows, and it's not a fierce break. It's just a quick breakdown. And then you want to see an immediate buy reaction on a break of these lows. So really, that's kind of your trade here. That's the only trade that exists. You could short this on the expectation it's going to go here to the low. I just don't think it's given the price action and how it's hesitating, because that's the other thing that I mentioned in Discord is that when it gets to a level and it starts to hesitate, well, of course it can hesitate and break down, but more times than not, that hesitation is showing that there's the other side of what that price action is. So it was selling off and there's hesitation. You see it really in the tick charts. So here, at this point in time right here, there's hesitation. You're seeing a hesitation in just the overall price action. And it hasn't switched to momentum long yet. But this whole area here is what I would call hesitation. And buyers stepping up at a key level. That I don't use the term garden variety because there's never such thing as a garden variety, meaning that there's a typical. But this is in air quotes pro trader. This is a garden variety pullback right here. This pullback here is garden variety given the market action. So if you spend enough time in the markets, this type of pullback and the expectations that you have around it is kind of a garden variety pullback. So let's see if we get picked up here.
Order filled.
All right, we got picked up. Let's see if we're wrong. The other thing that I mentioned in Discord is that oftentimes finding areas in the chart where it's very hard to take a position, meaning that it's uncomfortable. I look for areas in the chart often for that, which is like it's uncomfortable to buy here. It's uncomfortable to be a buyer here. It's not, you've got no guardrails. You've got nothing to really hang your hat on because already that level's been broken. You've got, it's been selling off pretty much all week. You're kind of in the lunch hour, so we don't expect much, but because of the volatility, you might expect it to continue. So we're below that 640 handle. Let's see if we get picked up for another position here. Now you're mindful of that. Hey, you've got the opening range low here. So you're calling a bluff that's not the target right now. That's really what you're doing here. And we're in a fade trade now. So this is a fade trade all the way. But what's your option here? Your option here is that the narrative is that, okay, these lows get broke. I expect buyers to step up. So your option here really is wait for confirmation and a changeover. And, don't take the uncomfortable trade because this is the uncomfortable trade at this point in time. And we'll see ultimately if this is the right trade to make. I also cover this in my training, and I talk a lot about this on Discord, which is I typically plan to scale in. That's the way I trade. So, I will add another position below here if it still fits my narrative. See how it's just stalling though? I mean, part of that is you've got to think about the time that we're in. We're 11:20. It's 12:30 on the East Coast. It's lunchtime. I know, what does Gordon Gekko say? I don't remember, what does he say? He says something about lunch. I'm drawing a blank today on a lot of things. Oh, lunch is for wimps. Okay, that's his quote. So lunch is for wimps.
Order filled.
Oh, let's see. So, once again, it's uncomfortable here, but it's stalling. Now, it could just break down. So, this is where you just got to be a little bit mindful of what you're doing. Here we go. So,
lunch? You gotta be kidding. Lunch is for wimps.
there we go. Hopefully that doesn't get me. I don't know. It's a quick clip, so I don't know how.
You gotta be kidding. Lunch is for wimps.
Okay. Calm down, Gordon. All right. So, do we want to add one more? Let's add one more.
Order filled.
Whether right or wrong. I mean, that's a given. But meaning that it's either going to really turn here or it's going to break down. But my thesis was still, okay. I'm doing a video on this about lows and highs. I think it'll be illustrative because I haven't seen much stuff talked about kind of what I'm going to cover in these lows and highs. I know Gordon says lunch is for wimps, but it's about lunchtime for me, and I'm going to take lunch. So, all right. We're just texting about BTC. How it's kind of a bloodbath. I mean, it's not a super bloodbath, but it is. And I just state this: anybody trading the Rexdog system since 3 December 21, you know that you're not long. You're not buying any of these dips. Maybe you would have thought about here, possibly, but not really. You're not going to seriously go in at size at these because you got no confirmation. It's been momentum short, really, this whole time. So anybody that's trading the Rexdog system, you're looking at this on the daily and you're saying, oh, I mean, if I didn't sell the highs up here, there's no reason to expect a momentum long move. It's momentum short all through here. There's nothing showing you. Every check-in pretty much has held up. I mean, there's been some overshoots here, but the RDA has held up. Everything has held up the way you expect. So, honestly, this shouldn't be any surprise to anybody that's trading the system. It's trading the Rexdog system. So we've got I think we've got the low. We caught the low. And now it's just a matter of, let's just put in trailing stops. I could let this play out. How you doing, buddy? Rex? Hey. You good? You alright? Oh, I guess I woke him up from his nap. He's not too happy about that whole situation. Alright. Just gonna stay close here. If we get caught, I don't really feel like going into any loss, meaning that letting the position go negative. So I've got the stop losses below that. There we go. So what do we expect? Hitting momentum indicators, we expect a reaction, but given the price action, there's a likelihood that it's probably going to break that. It's a little aggressive there. So we'll give it a little bit of room just to eke out a little bit more profit. Then we'll call it a day. No lunches for wimps, but I'll be a wimp today. Maybe we'll take off and go somewhere, buddy. Well, it's kind of cold, actually. Too damn cold. All right. Now it's just being patient. I didn't look at any other charts today. I was really just focused on the NQ. MNQ, lower size. I'm getting ready to start trading at a lower size. So we can build a small account. You know, we're getting the reaction and it's not pushing through it. So I'm happy to be taken out on this pullback. Probably should be a little bit more patient because we are in a fade trade. So be mindful of the fade that we're in. I mean, this is a fade trade.
Stop filled.
So, you know, could be less aggressive here and give it a little bit more room. But at the same time, you know, you're in a fade trade. You got to consider taking your profits quick because it's, you know, once again, it's uncomfortable to buy there. So you're only going to have the conviction traders down below is the way I look at it. And it could very well just sell off into the rest of the day, into the close like it does. It's pretty much what it's done the last couple days is it's just done that. If we just go back, you know, into the close sell off. We'll look here. Into the close sell off. I mean, came up, tried to rally, into the close. Here, into the close sell off. Not as fierce. Here, it actually into the close here, it actually rallied into the close. So if we go back to Bitcoin, on daily candles, we have been under the RDA average for quite a while. This week candle is going to close under as well. Now that's a big sign. So like when you see this, when Bitcoin or anything, I don't care, on the weekly, see, you have to understand the RDA. The RDA is average of 6 averages, of 6 moving averages, simple moving averages. The 200 is the longest. So on a chart that has enough time of 200 weekly and it breaks the RDA, that means that, I mean, that's a big thing to break. Where are we at? It probably got taken out. Yeah. So that's fine. So
Stop field.
to break the weekly RDA and close below it, it is a sign of change in sentiment on the weekly. Once again, though, if you're trading the Rex Dog system, and if you're in the training, I cover this stuff in a lot of detail in the training here. This chart and where it's at here is no surprise to you. It should be no surprise. There should be literally no one that is trading the Rex Dog system that has been in since 3 December that should be surprised of any of the price action here. There should be no, so even this low here should not be a surprise. And the reaction to this low, that should not be a surprise. So there's really no surprises because it's following what you've learned and the trading system. It's just following it spot on. So do we want to go for 3 for and actually add here again? I will. We'll add here again. I just don't believe any sell-off at this point in time. So it might rip to the downside here. We are on the 11:30, so that means that's a 3rd hour of cash trading. Let's see if there's monthly. So there's not enough month time for the RDA. But if we look at the week, we have enough time for the RDA. Got our 50% marked here, which we expect some reaction at 34, 35 or so. But we got plenty of room down here to get down to 25,000. Plenty of room to get down to 25,000. That's where I know I promised a report on Bitcoin. I'm going to do the abridged version because it's not worth me spending any more effort because I got the knowledge and the understanding that I wanted to get out of it. And there's higher value things I could spend time on. So I'll do the abridged version before it gets down there. We have plenty of time. Well, I think that's it. I don't really want to, I'm hungry. I want to do other things. So in closing, join Discord. You'll find a link down below. If you're looking for really spot on training, some of the best training on trading and a system, join Discord, DM me. It's easy to get started with the Rexdog trading system. Be adding some new training this weekend as well, so I'm working on that. Got a couple sections I want to add. Specifically, I want to get into a lot more detail on ticks. I've covered ticks quite a bit, but I want to kind of just do more of like I think I maybe even did this in another video. Just like I did the opening range, I want to get into ticks. I really want to get into to explain why ticks are valuable, why it's a chart that you should trade with. The biggest thing is that it takes time out of factor. And the biggest thing I see with traders, especially new traders, and even me at this time for me is sometimes hard to wrap my head around of how long should I wait, and taking time out of the factor of your trading, that's what tick charts do. That is an edge into itself. So that's all. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And so that's all. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.